Honorable Member of the National Assembly, Raphael Trotman, has accused the PPPC government of committing multiple illegalities by passing budgets for several constitutional agencies in violation of the Financial Management and Accountability Amendment Act of 2015. The Member of Parliament pointed out that at the time of the presentation of estimates for the constitutional agencies, there had not been any appointments for the posts of Speaker of the National Assembly, Minister of Finance, nor Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee.
This House clearly states the procedure to be adopted by the Minister of Finance, presuming one is appointed, the role of the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Clerk of the National Assembly, and the Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. At the time of the presentation of those estimates to the constitutional agencies, to the best of our information and belief, there was no casting Minister of Finance, no elected Speaker, and no Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee.
Further, Mr. Trotman spoke to the expected arrival of the U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, on Thursday, urging the Ali administration not to allow this state to lose its dignity and self-respect, trade its sovereignty, and right to self-determination and non-interference in the affairs of other states.
There has been too much progress made in the last 5 years as we took our case to the National Court of Justice, seeking a peaceful solution, and it will be a travesty of monumental and epic proportions if, Mr. Speaker, we found ourselves in a hot mess and threatened.
During the electoral impasse of 2020, the coalition government had stressed tremendously that Guyana is a sovereign state and there should be no interference by other states in its internal affairs. Further, then-President David Granger had denied a request by the U.S. administration to establish a medium-wave frequency in Guyana, which would have been used to broadcast programs and messages to neighboring Venezuela. Meanwhile, on the subject of constitutional reform, the Member of Parliament posited,
a mere 3 sentences were used to portray the PPP's intentions on constitutional reform in the budget.
Former Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu had resoundingly called for constitutional reform among a host of political commentators and leaders. Mr. Trotman further alluded to unfulfilled promises by the current administration in its 2020 emergency budget.
Mr. Speaker, there has been insufficient meeting of the promise of $50,000 in the Because We Care grant. We have not seen the reversal of the 200 taxes that were promised. Mr. Speaker, former Minister of Finance recently described this budget as deformed, defective, deceptive, divisive, and discriminatory. And he's right.
Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.